Hello, good morning children. Today in this video I am going to explain class 8 history 6th chapter colonialism and the city. Already two parts I have explained, and now what the British have done after the rebellion explained, and earlier what they have done for the development of the Persian people, these Delhi people, and after the rebellion what they have done, how they have demolished the past of the Delhi. Everything you have learned in the previous video. Now you are going to learn after 1912 they have rebuilt the new capital city, that is Delhi. Let's see. Planning a new capital. Planning a new capital. Let's see what they have done. The British were fully aware of the symbolic importance of Delhi. They know earlier how the Delhi was. Yes. After the revolt of 1857, many spectacular events were held there. In 1877, Viceroy Lytton organized a darbar. So, at what time? In 1817. Who was the Viceroy? Lytton. Okay, Lytton was the Viceroy and he has organized a darbar. Okay, Lytton organized a darbar to acknowledge Queen Victoria as the Empress of India, to announce Queen Victoria as the Empress of India. Remember that Calcutta was still the capital of British India. So, till then, what was the capital? By the time also, Calcutta was the capital of India. Capital was by the time Calcutta only. Only after 1912 only they have announced Delhi as the capital. Till then, Calcutta was the capital. So, why he has organized a darbar? Darbar means a meeting, royal meeting. So, he announced for the Queen Victoria as the Empress of India. Queen Victoria as Empress of India. She was the Queen of Britain. Okay, but here also, after gaining the control in 1877, they have announced Queen Victoria as the Empress of India. Remember that Calcutta was still the capital of British India, but the Grand Darbar was being held in Delhi. Of course, by the time capital was Calcutta, but this meeting was held in Delhi. They held the meeting in Delhi. Why was this so? During the revolt, the British had realized that the Mughal emperor was still important to the people and they saw him as their leader. So, what the British observed? See, in all the places when the rebellion spread, they have selected Mughal emperor Bahadur Shah Jafar as their leader. So, they have identified that these kings, the Mughal emperor, Delhi's emperor was important to the people of India. That's why, to show their power, their authority on this India, the Britishers selected New Delhi for the meeting place. It was therefore important to celebrate British power with pomp and show. In the city, the Mughal emperors had earlier ruled on the place which had turned into a rebel stronghold in 1857. So, all the regiments, Sepoys regiments, they reached Delhi and they started rebellion there only. So, how this Mughal emperor was important to all the people of India, there only they want to, these Britishers, they want to show their power with pomp and show that this Queen Victoria will be the Empress of India. Now there will be no Mughal ruling, no Mughal emperor. Only we, the Britishers, will rule the country. To spread this feeling in the Indians, they have done this act on New Delhi. In 1911, when King George V was crowned in England, a darbar was held in Delhi to celebrate the occasion. So, in 1877, they have declared. But afterwards, after Queen Victoria's death, okay, in 1911, also they have announced King George V, King George V as the emperor. Okay, as the emperor. That ceremony also they have celebrated in Delhi only. Okay, in 1877, Queen Victoria was announced as the Empress of India. But after her death in 1911, King George V, he was announced as the King of England and King of India. That ceremony also they have celebrated in New Delhi. The decision to shift the capital of India from Calcutta to Delhi was announced at this darbar, though. So the important decision to shift the capital from Calcutta to Delhi was taken in this ceremony, in this celebration only. New Delhi was constructed as a 10 square mile city in Raisina Hill, south of the existing city. So, how they have planned 10 square mile. That means all sides 10 square miles will be there. So, they have taken 10 square miles. That means every side 10 square miles. Like this, here also 10, here also 10. Like that, they want to construct Delhi city. Why? Because they have announced in 1911 that the New Delhi was the capital of India. On Raisina Hill, on a hilly place, they want to construct this New Delhi. South of the existing city, south side of the city. That means this side, south side of the city. Two architects, Edward Lutyens and Herbert Baker. So, who are the engineers here? Edward Lutyens. Edward Lutyens. He was the engineer, and the second engineer was Herbert Baker. Herbert Baker. So these two were the engineers, architects of the construction of New Delhi. Were called on to design New Delhi and its buildings. So these two from England, they were called from England. Why they have called? To design the New Delhi and its buildings. The government complex in New Delhi consisted of a 2-mile avenue, Kingsway. Okay, so the government building, what they have planned for 2 miles. For the government building, they have planned for 2 miles avenue. 2 miles avenue, that much width and length they want to construct the government building. That government building only now called as Rajpath, Rashtrapati Bhavan. That led to the Viceroy's Palace, now Rashtrapati Bhavan. And they have here or somewhere they have 2 miles building for government palace they have planned, and that was for Viceroy's Palace. Viceroy's Palace they have done, constructed, designed, and afterwards this was called as Rashtrapati Bhavan. Rashtrapati Bhavan. Now we are using this as that Viceroy's Palace. Now we are using as Rashtrapati Bhavan. The President of India will reside here. Okay, next. And with the Secretariat buildings on either sides of the avenue. So, to this Viceroy's Palace, on two sides, Secretariat buildings will be there. Like that, those two architects planned. The features of these government buildings were borrowed from different periods of India's imperial history, but the overall look was classical Greece. Okay, so all these buildings, designs and all, they were taken from the historical imperial history, but overall look after completing the this construction, it will be look like the Greece style, classical Greece style. For instance, the central dome of the Viceroy's palace was copied from the Buddhist stupa at Sanchi, and the red sandstone and carved screens or jollies were borrowed from Mughal architecture. Okay, so this was the Rashtrapati Bhavan, children. So this dome was taken as from Mughal architecture. No. This dome was copied from Buddhist stupa of at Sanchi, and the red sandstone. What is this red sandstone? It was and carved screens or jollies were borrowed from these sandstone. Whatever all these jollies, they were borrowed from Mughal architecture. But the new buildings had to assert British importance. But if you are copying all these things from the Mughal architecture and the imperial history of India, then how it will reflect the British style? That is why the architect made sure that the Viceroy's palace was higher than Shah Jahan's Jama Masjid. So what they have done, this Viceroy's palace, they made this much taller that Jama Masjid will look smaller than this Viceroy's palace. That means earlier you have learned that in all over Delhi, Jama Masjid was the taller building. No other building was like that. But this Viceroy palace, to reflect the British style, they have constructed more taller than Jama Masjid. How was this to be done? New Delhi took nearly 20 years to build. So in 1911 they have announced, and nearly to construct this New Delhi, it took 20 years. The idea was to build a city that was a stark contrast to Shah Jahanabad. How the Shah Jahan, the Mughal emperor Shah Jahan, was built. By that time it was famous among all the capital cities. But to dominate that Shah Jahanabad, that was the aim of these Britishers, to construct the new capital city. There were to be no crowded mohallas, no mazes of narrow bylanes. So the city mohallas, and they were crowded with people and with so many bajas. But here Britishers, they don't want like that. They don't want canals, those laded narrow bylanes and mohallas. They don't want crowded mohallas. Here the Britishers, they don't wanted that. In New Delhi, there were to be broad, straight streets lined with sprawling mansions set in the middle of large compounds. So what they have done, all the buildings they have set in the middle, and remaining all side they have kept open places in large compounds. That means one compound will be here in the middle of the place, and they kept all this place open area. So the construction of the buildings they have done like that, with large open grounds. The architects wanted New Delhi to represent a sense of law and order, in contrast to the chaos of old Delhi. So old Delhi should not, if anybody sees, if they compares, there should be no comparison things like that they have done. That it should not represent old Delhi. That was the main aim of these architects. That means not only architects but the Britishers also. The new city also had to be a clean and healthy space. The British saw overcrowded spaces as unhygienic and unhealthy, the source of disease. So here the Britishers wanted the overcrowded spaces. If so many people will be living in one place, means it will be unhygienic and unhealthy, and it will cause diseases. This meant that New Delhi had to have better water supply, sewage disposal, and drainage facilities than the old city. So here everything they want to plan in a hygienic manner. Okay, that water supply should be better and sewage disposal, that means whatever the waste will collect, the disposal should be far off the city, and at the same time drainage facilities, the drainage wastewater should go far from the city. Like that, with better facilities they want to construct this New Delhi. It had to be green with trees and parks, ensuring fresh air and adequate supply of oxygen. So the Delhi, the capital city, should be constructed with it should look like, it should be look in green color, that means all over they kept trees and parks, that means clean and healthy environment they want to create, and fresh air and adequate supply of oxygen. If more trees are there, means then oxygen supply will be there. Next, life in the time of partition. So why, what is this partition? Let's see. The partition of India in 1947 led to a massive transfer of populations on both sides of the new border. So they have constructed New Delhi in 1947. We got freedom. Okay. So after that, by that time, what it happened? India partition, it happened that different parts, different people on their basis, religion base, they have separated. You know already. August 14, Pakistan was separated from India. So, what was the situation? Pakistan was separated from India. So, by that time, how was the life in 1947? Let's see. The partition of India in 1947 led to a massive transfer of populations on both sides of the new border. On both sides of the new border, there was these, all the Hindu people, they came to India, and all the many Muslims they gone to Pakistan. As a result, the population of Delhi swelled, the kinds of jobs people did changed, and the culture of the city became different. So earlier all these people used to live in Delhi, all kinds of religions and all kinds of artisans, but here after shifting these, their jobs changed and people culture changed, and the total culture of the city changed. Days after Indian independence and partition, fierce rioting began. Thousands of people in Delhi were killed and their homes looted and burned. So, fierce riots, that means these disputes spread violently. Thousands of people were killed and their homes were looted and burned. The wealth was looted and at the same looted and burned. As streams of Muslims left Delhi for Pakistan, their place was taken by equally large number of Sikh and Hindu refugees from Pakistan. So, as I said, these the Muslims families, they have shifted to Pakistan. At the same time, Sikh families and Hindu families, they have occupied these Muslims places in New Delhi. Refugees here, because Pakistan that be a Muslim country. That why in Pakistan by the time who were living Hindu people and Muslims, Sikhs, they have sent away from the Pakistan and they have come to New Delhi to settle down. Refugees roamed the streets of Shahjahanabad searching for empty homes to occupy. But the time when they have come to India, when they have come to Delhi, they were wandering, they were searching where we can find these empty houses so that we can occupy, that we can stay in those homes. At times they forced the Muslims to leave or sell their properties. So by the time these Sikhs and Hindus, they have forced the Muslims to sell their properties and their homes. Over 2/3 of the Delhi Muslims migrated. Almost 44,000 homes were abandoned. So from Delhi, 44,000 homes. So from all these homes, the Muslims, they have gone to Pakistan. Muslims, they have gone to Pakistan. How many homes were empty by the time? 44,000. 44,000 homes means how many people will be there? You see. terrorized Muslims lived in makeshift camps till they could leave for Pakistan. So, uh, directly they have not gone for Pakistan, but here only, because their own homes were there, their own properties were there. So how, if they were, these Hindus and Sikhs, they were forcing, how they could leave their mother native place? Yes, sir. So that's why all these people, they have uh, made shelter houses and they used to stay in those shelters. And makeshift camps. In camps, they settled. They were in the hope that at any cost they can come back to their homes. That's why they settled in the camps in New Delhi only. Why they have to settle? Because all the Hindus and Sikhs who have come here as refugees, they forced these Muslims to go back to this Pakistan. At the same time, Delhi became a city of refugees. Nearly 5 lakhs people were added to Delhi's population, which had a little over 8 lakhs people in 1951. So, in 1951, Delhi's population was only 8 lakhs. But, okay, and as the refugees came, it added 5 lakhs people. That means these, how many members came? Nearly 5 lakhs people came to Delhi to settle down. Most of these migrants were from Punjab. They stayed in camps, schools, military barracks and gardens, hoping to build new homes. As I said, they were in the hope that they will get back. So all these people, they have settled in camps and at the same time schools, military barracks and gardens, hoping that to build new homes. So of course, okay, they have sent us out. At any cost, we want to settle in New Delhi only, so that we will make new homes. In that hope, many people stayed back in these military camps and schools. Some got the opportunity to occupy residences that had been vacated. Others were housed in refugees colonies. So some, in these 5 lakhs people, some of them got the vacant houses, but some of them, they have settled in refugee colonies. New colonies such as Lajpat Nagar and Tilak Nagar came up at this time. So all these refugee colonies, whatever there, new colonies were began there. What are they? Lajpat Nagar and Tilak Nagar. Shops and stalls were set up to cater to the demands of the migrants. Schools and colleges were also open. So for these refugees colonies, that was Lajpat Nagar and Tilak Nagar, as the people are residing, all the facilities they needed. So Lajpat Nagar and Tilak Nagar. For these two, shops and stalls. Shops and stalls, and at the same time schools also have begun. Schools also have begun for these people, for these refugees people. So this was the lesson, children. I hope till now you understood. What happened next, I will explain in the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.